as you begin your Sunday routine, whatever it might be, I want you to start thinking, mulling over what it means to live out the second great commandment that Jesus gives. Love your neighbor as yourself. Often I kind of skip part of this passage just in recollection. I skip it and I think, okay, it's a call to love our neighbors. And so the actions is, help our neighbors out when they need help, take out their trash bins on Saturday nights, to be a good, hospitable neighbor. And though that's part of it, to only be a good neighbor is still to fall short of what it means to live out this commandment. You see, tied in this commandment is a qualifier, is a bar that's been set. Love your neighbor as yourself. Not as how other people have loved you, but how you would want to be loved. If you think about that, that's actually quite a high standard. That standard is set based off of what makes us feel loved. There's needs and wants in this category. We need to have shelter. We need to have food. We need to be loved, valued, admired, appreciated by other people. That's what it means to want to be loved ourselves. To love others is to want others to experience the same things that satisfy us as well. And as believers, we know that God is the ultimate satisfaction, the ultimate answer to our need. And so as believers, our calling is to desire for other people to experience the same wonder, the awesomeness of God. I want you to think for a moment about the time where you chose to follow Jesus. I don't know what your case was. Maybe you just saw his beauty, his grace, his hope. Maybe you were afraid of hell. I don't know what it was, but there was something in your mind's eye that was like, man, I need him so much. And to love others as we love ourselves is to want others to experience that same wonder, that same beauty that we experienced from Jesus the day we chose to follow him. It's kind of interesting. We have this amazing love, and we've experienced it. And yet, as Christians, I think we tend to be good at loving and taking care of people, sort of, but we're not great. And what I mean by that is it's interesting because a lot of people think that they are going to go to heaven simply because they're good people. And it's like, wait a second, have we shown our love for people at such a weak level of entry? Jesus is asked, after he shares about loving our neighbors, he's asked, okay, well, who is my neighbor? Who am I called to love? And the guy who's asking this is asking this out of a place of, okay, what's the bare minimum? Who's the bare minimum I need to love? And Jesus responds with the iconic parable of the Good Samaritan. It's a case where this guy is beaten up and left half dead on his way to Jericho. And the two people who are most likely, most expected to love on this guy, to take care of this guy, to help this guy, ignore him. They walk past him. For the Jewish audience there's a bit of like, hey, this is not right. These people should be taking care of this guy wounded. But to add insult to injury, Jesus makes the hero of the story, the Good Samaritan, the person that the Jews kind of would, turn their nose up to. And in today's day and age, a lot of people are good. They take care of their community. They love their neighbors to the same degree that we do. And in one sense, I think that's a bit of a slap to the face. Because we have, or at least we claim to have, the greatest love. I want to share a story with you. A while ago, my friend and I, we went out on a treasure hunt. As we had prayed in preparation, we just kind of sensed that God was saying, someone with a red t-shirt and who's something to do with 92. Frankly, we had no idea what that meant, but we're like, okay, God, well, we'll see what happens. And so we went out and we kind of started walking around, and we were looking for people who kind of matched that description, but we weren't really coming up to anything. As we kept walking, we just kept our eyes open, and it was this really cool moment where this guy came around the corner, and he was wearing a red t-shirt, and his t-shirt said, "Lost since 1992." In that moment, it was just like this really cool moment, because clearly God had set it up so that we could meet this guy. But then at the same time, there was this moment of realizing, wait a second, like Jesus's heart is not just only for the people who are revealed to us through something like a treasure hunt or something that's formally organized. Jesus's heart is bigger than that, is more like missional than that. And so what I love about that is, in one sense, you know, this Church's Cancel series has been about helping us grow, helping us be better at sharing this love, because we need to grow in that. But to be very clear, you don't need to have a treasure hunt. You don't need to have a word from God. You don't need to have a reason to go heal someone to share the gospel. The reason that's strong enough on its own is simply, what has Jesus done for yourself? I want to be very clear. I'm not downplaying anything else that's been shared. That's not what is the case. But I just want you to know you have the access to reach out to those around you without having to have an excuse to. And here's why this is important. Because when I look, and when you look over the Braes and you just see all the people that are represented here, man, Jesus's heart is for these people. His heart is that you might go out into our community, and that these 179,000 people might encounter people who are in love with Jesus, who are grateful for what Jesus has done. And because of that, I am 100% confident that Jesus will change the culture and the atmosphere here. And so, church, I want to be clear, and you already know this, but like, this is not something that we just do for a short season of time and check it off our Christian checklist. It's something that we all need to grow in. And so the conversation's always open to how do we do this better. And so next Sunday, we're going to come back together, and we're just going to celebrate and rejoice in what God's been doing and the steps of boldness and such. But this week, I know lockdown has kind of changed a bit of our setting. But I think, you know, we can still, to a degree, go for a walk to the Braes. Go for a walk in your communities and just be praying. Be open. And I want to encourage you to be bold. Reach out to someone that you encounter on Sunday morning. All right, love you guys. And I'm so excited to hear the stories. And man, like 179,000 people. And yet we're more than the 12 disciples. And I think the odds are in our favor. So praying for you and love you. Take care.